Twist Tie Farm. Twist Tie Farm. Twist Tie Farm, where gold milk dreams come true. Nourish your skin, freshness just for you.
Hey guys, so when I batch out my oils, I grab these buckets over here. I use these buckets. They are 2-gallon buckets, so I will make all 5 of these batches. I will separate each of my hard oils into these buckets. Okay. So I'll move these. And then I keep a make list on the top of my little folder of recipes, and then these are all my recipes in here that I have. And I've got like lotion recipes in here. And then I also have a section that has my essential oil blends on here. So I'm not going to show you close up of any of that stuff. That's my proprietary recipes and blends. So, but if you need help with working on your own soap blend, I'm more than happy to answer questions on that, but I won't give you my exact recipe. So the first thing I usually put in this bucket is either my coconut or my tallow. It doesn't matter which one is which. It's not particular on the order. So I'm just going to do my coconut oil first. So let me go grab that. So coconut oil, I get 2 places. I do Soaper's Choice primarily, but if I need something in a pinch and I've not got my order in with them, it takes me anywhere from 3 to 5 days to get an order from Soaper's Choice. I have a local bulk food store that I can go to town and I can go and get 5-gallon buckets. It costs me the same as it does to ship them, so there's no price difference in that regards. It just depends on where I'm ordering things at, on what I get from that. So, and then let's get some gloves on. Okay. So I do what they call a hot process method, or not a hot, I'm sorry. I do what they call a heat transfer method. So how I do this is I take these 2-gallon buckets and I put my hard oils in there. I don't melt anything down. I found I've done the traditional soap making with goat's milk where you freeze it and all that. The time on that just takes a long time because you got to make sure that everything's frozen. And whenever I started making more soaps, I found it wasn't beneficial for me to do all that. I needed a faster method, and so I come across this heat transfer method, and I have found that I really like using it. It speeds up time on my soap making. So I do weigh everything out. There's no guessing when it comes on this stuff. If you don't weigh it out, the lye does not blend with the oils well, and then I get a mess. So I try to be pretty precise about what I'm blending and mixing together for my recipe. This recipe I have used for the last, I guess, about 3 years now. So it is not the original one I started with. The original one that I started with had canola oil and soybean oils in there. And in my market, I had a lot of customers that were allergic to the canola oil and the soybean oils. So I was looking to formulate also, and then I also had one batch of soap that went rancid. And upon doing research, the canola oils and soybean oils, they have a tendency of doing that sometimes. So that was one of the reasons I reformulated my recipe 3 years ago. I got rid of those oils out of my recipes. Then I used to have olive oil and sunflower oil both in my recipes, and I ended up taking the olive oil out all but one recipe, and that was because of cost. I felt like I didn't want to raise my prices to justify keeping in olive oil in my soaps. So sunflower oil has similar properties as your olive oil, and so that is why it is just sunflower oil in the soap recipes. So I'm coconut oil, tallow, sunflower oil, and castor oil. The sunflower oil adds a nice slip to the soap and kind of gives like a silky feel to it. It's the best way I can describe it, and I like that feel on the soap. So I like the properties of that. Coconut oil is a good cleanser, and it helps with bubbles in the soap. So that is why I use coconut oil in it. Most of your soaps have a coconut oil base. There are people that do formulate without a coconut oil base. But most soaps, I would say probably 80% of soaps on the market or more have coconut oil in them. And so it's a pretty common ingredient in your soaps these days. So okay, here. Almost done with this one. There we go. Alright guys, so the next thing that we're going to put in our buckets is tallow. So in here, I get this from Soaper's Choice. I don't render down my tallow myself. I just don't have time. Sometimes you have to buy things instead of doing them all yourself on this, and this is one of them. This is not an expensive product. This box is $30 before shipping, and so it's me. It's just more cost effective for me just to buy it, and then I don't have to worry about that extra time. If I were to render it down and everything myself, that's more time. That means I have to add more to my cost. It also takes more time, so it's just easier just to do it myself with buying it. So tallow, I switched to tallow about 3 years ago on my soaps. I do like the tallow in the bars. One thing that tallow does do is it gives me a harder bar. So that's very nice. It helps with the longevity of the bars then. They're not soft. Tallow also has a lot of good things for your skin also. There's benefits. Some people don't like it. If you're into vegan things, you wouldn't be buying my products anyways, because my products have goat milk in them, so I don't worry about that side of it. I leave those to other soap makers on that market of things. Alpha Gal is another thing. People with Alpha Gal, they don't use my products again because of the animal products that are in there between the tallow and the milk. So, but a lot of people are on to tallow because it's trending on other social platforms right now. So they like the fact that it is in there. But before it was a trending thing, I used tallow. So it makes a nice bar of soap. Okay, so we've got our tallow and our coconut oil in these buckets here. Now what I do is I get another bucket. These are 1 gallon size buckets. And what I do with these is I add my liquid oils to them. So we'll make 5 buckets up of our liquid oils. So the first thing that we're going to put in here is our castor oil. Castor oil adds bubbles. It increases the lather in your soap. So it's always a good idea to have castor oil in the soap, and it doesn't take much. You don't want to use more than, I believe it's 4 or 5% in your soaps. It'll make them like tacky and sticky, and they won't bond together properly. So just a small amount on these, just enough. Alright, so next I'm going to put my sunflower oil in. This I get from Soaper's Choice also. Sometimes I will also get it from Webstaurant. It depends on who has the better price because it fluctuates. So, again, sunflower oil, I like sunflower oil. Its properties are similar to that are in olive oil. So I do like it for that reason. It helps, it gives like a little silkiness on your soaps. So I do like that. I used to use olive oil again, but I reformulated 3 years ago to put the sunflower oil in there. So I've never had any issues with my sunflower oil. A lot of people have used my soaps. Alright guys, so there you go. I can master batch all these up, and then I've got some lids for my smaller buckets and for my larger buckets. I can put lids on all these. I can stack them. And then I can set them on a shelf. And if I don't make soap all on day one, I can make soap on other days. So it works out nice for, I usually line my soap molds on day one. I will take and I will fill my buckets also on day one, and then I usually come back the next day, and then I will spend the whole entire day making soap. So I do have some more buckets. I can do more batches than just 5, but I only have 5 molds, so that's all I ever usually do is just the 5. But it's a great system for not having to do all the work in one day and being prepared. So, but